Hello guys, I know I haven't been here for a long time, but I broke my mom's phone and I'm losing her new one. I'm trying to not break this one. But if I rage on this boat, hit my pillow, which is... You gave me that pillow, Jenny. You gave me that pillow. Why are you trying to be my friend?
Dumps Gihan back in Seoul with nothing but a bank card loaded with his newfound fortune. He can hardly bring himself to spend a single dollar, consumed by guilt. He runs into Sang-woo's mother, who asks about her son, but Goku is too traumatized to reply. She gives him some fish to take to his mother, but he returns to find her deceased, meaning his entire purpose behind playing the games was gone tragically. A year passes and Gihan lives in a daze, haunted by nightmares of the island. Then he receives a strange note from a flower vendor, summoned to a high-rise building. The sender was none other than his Ganbu. Waiting for him is none other than the old man, Mr. Poopy Pants himself, Il-nam, secretly alive. He reveals that he was the mastermind behind these games, orchestrating them for the amusement of himself and a handful of ultra-wealthy benefactors. He participated personally in order to recapture some youthful excitement in the face of his terminal illness, wanting one last thrill before death. The conversation ends with Il-nam dying in front of G-Money. Horrified by the truth that the entire bloodbath was just a twisted form of TV for bored elites, Gihan finally decides to use some of his winnings, entirely guilt-free. He finds Saepyeok's orphaned brother and hands him off to Sang-woo's mother, providing them a huge sum of money for their future. Then, just as he's boarding a flight to reunite with his daughter in America, he spots the same subway recruiter luring another poor soul with the flipping game from the past. Gihan snatches the business card from the new victim.
Can you go join me in a little bit?
Calls the phone number and is told to get on his plane if he knows what's good for him. Instead, Gihan turns around at the gate, determined to take down the organization responsible for all this chaos and despair, no matter what it costs. And that leads us into Season 2. After winning the Squid Game in Season 1, Gihan, now a multi-millionaire, thought the cash would give him a fresh start in life. Instead, victory brought him little peace. Despite walking away with millions of dollars, Gihan is haunted by the horrors he witnessed during the game, like the deaths of his fellow contestants and closest friends. The brutal memories of the friends he lost weigh heavily on him, and he can't shake the guilt of having survived when so many others perished horribly. Gihan decides that he can leave this old life behind and prepares to board a flight to see his daughter in America. Just as he's about to go, he spots the same subway recruiter who introduced him to the Squid Game, luring another poor soul. Gohan snatches the business card from the new victim, calls the phone number, and is told to get on his plane if he knows what's good for him.
아픈 생각하지 마. 그래서 난 그 비행기를 타. 그게 당신한테 좋을 거야.
Taking this as a threat, suspicious that he's being watched, he turns around at the gate and searches himself for some kind of tracking device, which he found behind his ear. Junho, a police officer who investigated the mysterious Squid Game Island in Season 1, wakes up in hospital after being shot in an attempt to expose the cruel games. 2 years following this, he chose to move to the traffic division in order to get a quieter and more relaxing life. His former chief invited him to a meal one day, asking him to return to the major crimes division. But Junho was upset that the unit had failed to track down any information on the island and organization, closing the case. Late at night, Gihan hears his doorbell ringing, but nobody shows up on the cameras he set up for his protection. Opening the door, he's shocked to see the Big Daddy frontman standing in front of him, holding the severed heads of 2 of Gihan's friends. Gojo trigger-fingered his Glock trying to kill his rival, but woke up, realizing it was just a nightmare.
GG.
Then he heard the doorbell go again, for real this time. Thankfully, instead of the Squid Game staff, it's just his private investigator, Mr. Kim. Since 2 years ago when he left the games, Gihan has been paying the PI to track down the mysterious recruiter from the subway, but he always slipped away. This year, Goku pays a lot extra so that every subway line can be watched by additional, which leads to the recruiter being spotted.
High-speed air dryer, strong contender with big and bulky weighing down your arm.
It is just first person I see is because he trick-shotted on a phone this time, because I did a trick shot. If you have it somewhere, other channels on the PlayStation. The trick shot on there.
Ashley's Trip 4th weekend is here. Now through Monday, shop incredible doorbusters starting at just $3.99 or save up to 25% off your entire purchase. Plus, no interest for 60
men who were tailing the recruiter, Gihan gets stopped and control and receives
Alright! So you need to kill far. You kill far away.
His rental cars company was suspicious. Mr. Kim and his teammate thought the recruiter was running with the cave, so they tried to stop him, but were both beaten up, taking them hostage to play a deadly game of Russian roulette, which resulted in the death of Mr. Kim.
하나를 못 빼셨네요.
While this happened, Junho traced the car to belonging to Mr. Kim's company. Gihan returned home after being unable to find Mr. Kim and his men, only to discover the recruiter standing in front of him, forcing him to play Russian roulette. This guy really had a thing for Russian, but Gihan agreed. Even though the recruiter had realized he would die in the game, his ego was too high to break the rules of the game, which he followed so strictly that he even killed his own father.
Not no.
As he self-eliminated, Junho arrived at the motel, coming across
you
Choi
get
Woo-suk,
something.
the partner who was with Mr. Kim, and asked him for Gihan's room number. After he entered the room and saw the body of the recruiter, Junho tried who explained the situation in detail. Gihan finds an invitation card on the recruiter's body, just like the one he received 2 years ago. He then questions Junho, who tells him about his investigation to find out about his brother infiltrating the Squid Game staff, but doesn't tell him about his brother. Gohan tells Inho that if he quits the police force, he can join him in searching for the Big Daddy frontman. Although Gihan had kept him promised to take care of his brother,
Big Daddy.
was still at a North Korean camp, so
Jim
Gihan
Rose,
gave him fast
that guy's
cash
still
to
calling
keep him in
that.
mind and take care of him. As he leaves, a woman called Noe Yul enters, seeking her 1-year-old daughter who
donut?
left her in North Korea after fleeing to the south. We're then shown part of her day-to-day life working as a mascot at an amusement park, where a little girl with blood cancer
My mom got those
gets her
for the
drawing.
kids.
At night, she's sleeping in her car when a mysterious figure knocks in the darkness and hands her one of the Squid Game cards. Crazy.
Grab a donut and get off.
I like how he's following me. Like,
The next day at work, she heads into the resignation, but on her way out, she sees the
Bro,
father
stop
of the
following
young
me.
girl running to an ambulance where his daughter lies unconscious. The father dropped her.
Oh,
at
why
the
are
garage,
these
so
two
Goku
following
picked
me?
it up and followed them to the hospital. We then find out that Goku is getting one of his teeth replaced with a false one, which stores a tracking chip, which will allow the group to monitor and track him wherever he goes.
hit, but
He'd even gone to the effort of training a private militia, led by a veteran with a lot of combat experience. He tries to call his daughter, but finds himself unable to speak. And in the meantime, Joel calls the number on her invitation and burns it after joining the organization, alongside the drawing the little girl gifted her. Gihan decides to take Choi with him to the club that the invitation was listed. But when they
Do I
got
know how
there, they
to
were
clap
separated,
on
and fake
phone?
guards took Gihan away in a limousine.
Uh-huh.
The group tried to follow him, but guards were on rooftops and sniped out their wheels, showing how prepared the organizers for the Squid Games truly are.
play with me right. Can you play with me in like 2 minutes? Can you play with me in 2 minutes? This in 2 minutes. I need to sit.
Gihan decides to enter the games again, saying that the VIPs would love for an experienced player to come back and shake things up. This leads to gas being released, and while Gihan is transported to the mysterious Squid Game island, we see Noe Yul enter a trailer where she has a private room to get dressed. Instead of a green jumpsuit like the players, however, we see her put on the infamous pink outfit with the black mask, representing her status as a guard. Gihan woke up in a huge dorm with rows of metal bunk beds, just just like season 1. Still groggy from the gas, which knocked him out. He saw people in those classic green uniforms around him, all looking anxious and confused. Guards stood at the edges of the room. A voice announced that there would be 6 different games played over 6 days, with a giant cash prize for the final winner. Anybody who wanted to quit could vote after each round, but the money in the pot would grow every time a player was eliminated.
I used to literally chase clients for payments. Now, Zero does the chasing for me. Before, I'd be waiting weeks, sometimes months, waiting for clients to pay. Now, I don't have to worry whether my clients forgot. If you're tired of late payments, try Zero. If it's getting paid, it's so much easier.
Sometimes a man will suffer combat sweat for his lack of sweat. Old Spice.
지금 보시는 것은 여러분의 소중한 상금을 담을 돼지 저금통입니다. 저 돼지 저금통에 상금이 적립됩니다.
Gihan recognized that eliminated meant shot to death, but many others didn't believe it was possible. He noticed a few faces that stood from the crowd. One woman wearing the number 222 was pregnant. Another player, 246, had mentioned his daughter was in the hospital with blood cancer and he needed money for the treatment. Sound familiar?
How
Middle-aged man.
did
Sarah's
they
son was nervous
get
about
the
his life,
gun?
who was also
How?
a player.
How? When I grab the
Player
gun
230
disappears
Another player,
from a
424,
far away
bad
in
investment advice that lost them their savings.
MG 코인 챙기는 연기? 맞아? 넌날 몰라도 그랬다 이 개새끼야. 나도야. 가게 부다지고 하도 네 방송 쳐봐서 꿈에도 네가 나와 이 씨발. 저기 가야지. 안사는 병신이라며 이 개새끼야.
Many of them asked Gihan questions about why he seemed so certain these games would be dangerous. He tried to warn everyone, saying he had seen these dorms before and knew what would follow. Some listened, others doubted him and thought he was crazy. While all of this was happening, Gihan had quickly realized that the tracking chip he installed was missing, and we see Junho's group finding it with the fishermen far away from the island.
camp, but now these two shut up. So, like, chill. I keep forgetting.
Their backup plan had completely failed, and now G-Money would be on his own, with nobody to help him. He'd need to try to bring an end to the games by himself. Their first game was Red Light, Green Light. The huge, creepy doll from Season 1 had some new upgrades. Goku had been through this game before, so he told everyone to stay completely still when the doll spoke. Not everyone believed him, and soon enough, a woman, player 196, got frightened by a bee mid-round, flinched, and was gunned down in cold blood. More people panicked and tried to run, which made the gunfire even worse.
How? He was nowhere near me. I hate when this happens. Well, that's gonna be the end for today's video, but I might upload